Not that long ago, if you came to me and you said, Blake, I'm after winning a bag load of money, I need something nice and luxurious to buy, I would have said, go out and get yourself a Mercedes-Benz EQS, no question about it. But I've had the BMW i7 for a few days now, and I think that this could be the pinnacle of luxury motoring in Ireland.
Brought to you by AA Approved Servicing. Book yours at aa.ie/servicing.
Okay, it's early on in the video, so let's just get this out of the way. I promise, once we do this, I won't mention it again. It's the front, it's the kidney grille, it's the kidney beans or the kidney barrels, I don't know what we call them. What do you make of it? Let us know in the comments below, by the way. Now, we've got i7 decked out all in black today, so you can't really make out the features that much. Is that a good thing? I don't know. It certainly is imposing. It's a huge nose and a really, really long bonnet. A couple of cameras here, big sensor pad just there for all the radar equipment, little bit of air intake, little bit of a channel for airflow over the wheels just there. I love the lights as well. So we've got some DRLs and then the main beams just down here. Definitely imposing. Is it beautiful? Not for me, for you. I don't know. What do you think?
Take a moment. Enjoy the calm. You could be stuck on the N7 with two teething toddlers, but we don't do stress at the AA. We do roadside rescue, and our trained mechanics fix 8 out of 10 problems at the roadside. Buy online now at theAA.ie. Relax. Yellow and black have got your back.
Around the side now, and first things first, yes, it's not another SUV. It's great to get a little bit of a selection on the market now, but it still is absolutely gigantic, isn't it? 5.4 meters long, about 2.7 tons. Now, it's not the highest. If you want that, you're going to go for the iX. Today we're on the 21-inch rims, but of course there's a huge selection there if you want to spec it out. Quite narrow profile tires as well. We're on 35s, so 285, 35 and then 21-inch wheels. I really like the version that we have today. There's not much chrome standing out or black plastic. It's all body colored. Some great features here as well. There's no door handles as such. There's a little sensitive pad underneath. Pop that and the doors will open up. Body colored, wing mirrors, no trim around the arches. So for me, it looks really, really sleek like this. And if I was buying the i7 myself, I would be going for something very, very similar to this. For me, this is probably the best angle in terms of aesthetics for the i7. I think it looks fantastic as one of those real executive luxury saloons. Quite a busy rear end to it. I do like that the light strip is really, really narrow just there. I've got the BMW badge with our camera and various sensors down the bottom as well. Let's not forget that this is built on a compromised platform, as in combustion engines go onto the very same chassis. So it's a little bit busy down at the end here, but they haven't gone for any fake exhaust or something. They just accepted it's electric, and I like that about it. Let's have a peek in the boot of the i7. We have a button there. It's electronic. Of course, you'd demand it at this kind of a price point, wouldn't you? But anyway, we've got 500 litres of space in there, and it's a decently wide aperture to fit things out, you know, be it buggies or whatever sort of suitcases you're traveling with. There's a little false floor there, and we've got some space underneath for your charging cables or whatever you want to stow away down there. A couple of little cubby holes in there, a few tie hooks. Yeah, decent space. For a car that's 5.4 meters long, could they have gotten a little bit of extra out of it? Perhaps. Against the Mercedes-Benz EQS, that's 610 compared to this 500, so it loses out there. But still, more than usable. You get your golf clubs in, wouldn't you? Yeah, that's the kind of thing you're worried about when you buy this car, isn't it? I think so. So this is where we charge up the i7, and it's pretty good overall. So we've got the AC Type 2 point on the top there, and the i7 takes 11 kilowatts. Now, just bear in mind that if you're at home and you're on single phase charging, you're really only going to get 7.5 out of it. So you're looking at a good 12, 13, 14 hour charge there. But find one of those on-street posts and it will take up to 11 kilowatts. Now, I think spending, you know, well over 100 grand, might they have spec'd that up higher than 11, even 22, the likes of the Renault Zoe, the Megane. Yeah, I think I would have liked to see them doing that. But anyway, we're not complaining about it. Then on DC, so the extra 2 points down the bottom there, it's the CCS connection, and now we're talking it's up to 200 kilowatts. And at that stage, you find a charger fast enough, which there aren't many of in Ireland at the moment, unfortunately, but a half an hour charge gets you that kind of 10 back up to 80% thereabouts to continue on your journey. And considering there's so much range in the car, that's going to be plenty for this little island anyway. It's time to take the BMW out for a little spin. I've used the wide angle lens here as much as possible just to let in all the light so you can see and have a better idea of what I'm experiencing as well. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what this is like, because if you're a subscriber to the channel and you follow us, you would have seen our Mizzen to Malin run in the Mercedes-Benz EQS on one charge. So we spent a lot of time in that car. We did nearly 1,500 kilometers over the few days. And I cannot wait to see how this compares. So we have the i7 now coming down onto a motorway, because this is one of the things that the car is going to be great at, just being a motorway muncher. So we're carrying a pretty slow speed. It's very, very clear front and back. So we're only doing 70 kilometers, just about to merge onto the motorway, and press this boost button, floor it. Whoa, 90, 100, 110, 120, stop. Wow. My God, it just gut punch. All-wheel drive, nearly 600 horsepower, 700 and something Newton meters of torque. But it delivers it so effortlessly. It's just incredible. So we're back down to 100. Let's go. Boost on. 3, 2, 1. 110, 120, just like that. It is incredible, the pickup in this. Holy. Whew. I don't know what type of noise I just made there a moment ago. I'm sure it wasn't very masculine. I admit that the next 30 seconds are probably pointless, because if you have to ask the price of the i7, then you're probably not going to be able to afford it. This thing is hugely expensive. Starts off at about 140,000 euros. But let's face it, who walks into the BMW dealership and goes, yeah, I'll have an i7, but no, don't need any trimmings, just the cheap one, please. Doesn't happen. They're going to spec out larger wheels, they're going to have different fabrics, different materials inside, they're going to get a couple of packages on top of that, or get the folding screen down from the roof. So people in reality are going to be spending at least 160, 170 grand on a car like this. And at that point, what's the competition? There's a few out there, but to be honest, anybody in the market for a car this expensive, 20 grand here or there, probably doesn't matter to them. Anyway, we've just turned up at an Ionity station. We're at pretty low state of charge, around 14%, because we've been using the i7 a good bit over the last few days. So let's go plug it in now and see what happens. It's lashing rain. It would be nice if these things were covered, but we're not lucky enough for that. This should take up to 200 kilowatts, and the fact that we're at a really low state of charge, once the battery heats up a little bit, we should see some pretty good speeds. We have our BMW charging card here. Let's go see what happens. Turn it off, just in case that makes a difference. So we're just back into the i7, plugged it in, and it ramped straight up to 100 kilowatts, and it's just trickled up to 110 kilowatts, which it seems to be stable at now. So we're getting 110 kilowatts charging speed on this at 15%. Now, in fairness to the car, the battery's probably cold because we didn't precondition it. So that's reasonable. And it's saying that we will be 100% at 4:15, and it's now 3 o'clock. But of course, you never stay to 100%. And if you do, you shouldn't. Get off the charger and let somebody else in who needs a charge, because your charging speeds really slow down once you get up, 60, 70, 80% especially. So by the time this car gets to about 80, 85%, it'll be pulling a maximum of 50 kilowatts anyway. The battery is heating up a little bit now, and we're up to 145 kilowatts. So that charging time is dropping down. We'll be up to, let's see, here's another thing. If we go charge target, so we only want to go, a charging target of 80% is recommended for quick charging, optimal battery life, and fastest charging route. Okay, we know all that. So let's drop it from 100 down to 80%. Let's see. Now, there we go. That dropped 40 minutes off the charge time, which is superb. And it says over here that if we do charge up to 80%, that'll have a 355 kilometer range. And this is something that people need to be aware of, is that you don't need to fill up. The days of you go to the petrol station and you fill up your tank with petrol, that's kind of gone now. It's a little bit different with an electric car. So if we're going down to Cork, for example, let's say Cork City from where we are here now, just outside Drogheda, is 300 kilometers. That's got 355 range left. Once we get to 80%, we know that's all we need. You don't wait here that extra 40 minutes to get to 100% when you don't need it at all. So get up to what you need and get on your way, and then get your cheap electricity when you're home that night. Let's just talk a few numbers for a moment and what's underneath this expansive bonnet. But let's not forget it's a compromised platform, as in this same chassis they put in the combustion engines. So they really have a lot of spare space in here, but they haven't put in a frunk, interestingly enough. But let's talk about power, motors and what's in here. There's a total of 400 kilowatts in the i7, so a motor for the front axle and another motor for the back. 400 kilowatts, that's nearly 600 horsepower. That's a 0 to 100 km/h time in 4.7 seconds. And now on BMW, if you get the right conditions, you might even get that a little bit lower. 3 strut bars in here as well, just to help with rigidity. And when you're out on the road, you kind of need things like that to haul around the bulk of a 2.7 ton car. On these we're on like a national road now, so speed limit is 100 km/h, so not quite as smooth and even as the motorway, but the BMW just laps it up and handles so well. Just coasts along. The smaller undulations, it just takes them in its stride. Really is excellent. And we are going to turn off the national road here and go onto a more country road. So I'm at 70k, take my foot off, 60, 50, 40 into the corner. Oh wow, that feels really sharp. Wow. I mean, this is a really small little road now. And listen to that. Oh wow. Just magnificent. And this road is terrible that I'm on now. It's single lane. There's grass growing in the middle of it. I can see all those tiny little potholes and gravel everywhere. And look, it's just coasting over it. The dampeners, the sound insulation, doing a just incredible job. I kind of don't know where I am now. Now I'm slightly nervous I might get carjacked. I'm in the middle of nowhere, in a one lane. This thing is so big, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a U-turn. Now that we're on this really narrow road, but we've got a little feature here. If we press that, ground clearance, vehicle will be adjusted to a high level. Now that we're not off-road, but on a really bumpy road, a little bit of grass verge in the middle, it's good to have that bit of height. Gives a bit more ground clearance so we can get through this terrain a bit easier. With the size of the i7, I'm at a junction just here, and the bonnet is so big that I can't see out. Okay, nothing coming from the right, left. Whoa, and we're up to 80 already. Slow down. And the noise as well, that Hans Zimmer soundtrack. Whew. It just grips so well. It's hard to fathom the 2.7 tons just straight up to speed. And here we are at, okay, so we're at 80 km/h, coming up to a 60 zone, and it's in just regular D mode. Take our foot off, down to 70, and then down to 60. However, if we put it into B mode, let's go back up to 80 after that little junction there, and then take our foot off, 70, 60, 50, 40. Yeah, the regen on it is really, really strong, and that's great to have. I really like that. I'm a big fan of regen in EVs. For me, it's just one of the things that make them so comfortable. And getting on to the point that we started off the video with, is this the pinnacle of Irish motoring, because it's just so incredibly comfortable. The seats are so well cushioned, the suspension, no body roll, but also you don't get any of that engine noise, any of that vibration. And you don't have any gear changes, that lurching as you shift between gears. And then when you want to slow down, all you do is just ease your foot off the accelerator. So I'm coming up to a roundabout here. I'm not even going to touch the brake right. I'm at 20 km/h, foot off, 15, 10, 5, stop. And I haven't even pressed the brake. It just makes driving around so comfortable. Until you plant your foot like that. Whoa. And on a roundabout here, Let's see how it feels. Oh, it just grips so well. Yeah, and there's just no body roll. It stays so stable in the corner. As a driver's car, this is so much better than you might expect from a 2.7 ton machine. So here we are inside the i7 in the back, and it's not often you do a car review and spend so much time in the back here, but let's face it, some of the people that buy this car, the likes of the Chinese market, but all over the world, they probably won't drive it that much. They will have a driver up there just to take them wherever they want. So what's it like in here? And oh, the seats are just so comfortable, the padding, they're heated, and there's so much you can do here as well. So for example, I have a little touch screen just here beside me, about the size of a decent smartphone at the moment. So I can do, let's say, blinds, close all, and look at the blinds on all the windows and on the panoramic roof and at the rear window are all closing. Now, if you spend the money, we don't have it on this car here, a 31-inch TV can fold out from the roof. So you could just hit here watching movies with something like 35 speakers just littered around the car. It's just incredible. Let's open all those up again. Press the home button. Oh, the roof one didn't open. Let's try that again. Open all, ah, there it goes. I press home now and we go seats and wait for this. So plenty of leg room in the front for that passenger there. But let's say, you know, I own this car and I want to be in supreme comfort. So let's just choose that front passenger seat, click that option there, and I'm going to send them forward. And look at that, going away. Now, even at its most further back point, I still had 2 or 3 inches of leg room, but look at this. Still going. Wow. And I can even change how much that's reclined as well. So just point that forward. And look, I'm not even close to touching it with my arms outstretched as well. It's that far away. Really is something else. But what's this one here? Massage. And look at the amount of options. Turn that on. I can feel it at my shoulder there, but there's loads of different settings. So I have it on shoulder massage. We can do massage downwards, upwards, lumbar massage, whole body, activate pelvic activation. Let's have a little bit of that. You can choose the massage intensity, the speed of it. Wow, this is just brilliant. Pressure point massage. Wow, oh yeah, you can really feel it just digging into the back and shoulders just there. You've got these headrests, these cushions just there. You can take them off, put them in the washing machine and clean them up to put them back on. This is just supremely comfortable back here. But let's say I'm a little bit tired. Do you know what? I just want to have a little snooze. So let's go seat climate, turn that on a little bit just to get it nice and warm. And also, on the massage is still going on there, let's go to adjustment of the seating position. You could choose the back seat now and the one in the middle there, and I'll just recline. Oh wow, it goes back really far. And then also, if you want, you can have, yeah, look at the whole bottom just sliding forward into that reclining position for much better thigh support. You could just sit here, have a snooze, have a little rest while you're charging up if you want. Wow, I've been in less comfortable armchairs. Astonishing. As well as that, you've got your little armrest just here. Fold that down, nice and comfortable. It's padded, oh, it's lovely. But you can lift it up. A little bit of storage under there, 2 USB-C connections, a little light, wireless phone charger. That can slide out to have a couple of cup holders there if you like. Yeah, wow. Amazing. We're sitting here in the i7 charging up at 150 kilowatts, so we don't need to be long at all. So let's just do a quick run through of the cabin. Now, we're not going to talk about every little button and feature, just kind of some of the highlights and what you get in here. The steering wheel is really chunky. It's not the largest in the sense of its circumference, it's just really chunky. And some people with smaller hands might find that a little bit off-putting. I don't know, but for me, I like it anyway. So you've got, there's not too much. It's not a busy steering wheel, 3-spoke. You've got control for cruise control on your left hand side, and then volume, voice activation and things like that on the right. A couple of stalks here for indicators, windshield wipers, the usual. I love this little feature here. It's a little flappy paddle and it's for a boost, but we'll talk about that when we're out driving it. We've got a driver's display just behind the screen here. At the moment it's showing us our charging rate, battery percentage, target times and all that kind of stuff, but normally you can have up a camera facing forward, your speed and all the usual kind of stuff. But all the action happens on this screen just here. Now it's one long curved piece of glass that's separated just here into two separate screens. The resolution is really good. It's fast. I mean, a lot snappier than most of what's out there. We would expect that at this kind of a price, all right, but just great to see that they've done that, they've executed that, and there's so much going on. If we hit the home button, you've got your map, media, radio, telephone, a couple of things like that. If you click this apps button just here, look at the amount that's going on. The amount of functionality here is just incredible, from BMW ID, mobile devices, personal assistants, modes, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, of course, which a lot of people are going to use and won't use this system as much. And it's just incredible, the amount of things you can change between the ambient lighting and reading lighting. It's just, there's no point in going through it all now. What else do we have? Well, there's a few little shortcut buttons just here, so we can open the glove box, we can have on the hazard lights, rear demisters and stuff like that. Am I getting that wrong? Anyway. Here we go. Yeah, okay, glove box just opened and then you close it yourself. These little toggle switches just here where you can face the flow of air depending on which direction you want it in your face, at your feet and so on. A couple of cup holders here, you can close those up, wireless phone, pad. You've got your gear selector just down here as well with start, stop, navigation, turn on the parking cameras. You might just be able to see that there, and these cameras are absolutely superb. The resolution, they're pointing everywhere. You can have a bird's eye view down. As a parking assistant, remember where you park. Just incredible functionality. Yeah, this little bit of storage just there. There's not a lot of storage here because this is based on the same platform as the combustion engine ones. So you've got that transmission tunnel all the way through. So we lose a little bit of space there, the fact that it's not on a dedicated platform. But the car's just so big anyway, you don't really need it. Rear view mirror, sunroof is absolutely fantastic, and we've got a lick. Close that up as a shade. Not going to do it all the way because the car is so big it'll take forever to get there. Yeah, now that we're tipping along at 120, it's clear enough in front of us. Hey BMW, activate cruise control.
Should I activate cruise control without distance control?
Yes.
I will activate cruise control at a speed of 112 kilometers per hour.
Hey BMW, speed up to 120 kilometers an hour.
I have set the cruise control speed to 120 kilometers per hour.
We've taken the i7 now to some back roads on the way home. We've had a good spin on the motorway, and just wanted to bring some back roads and talk about the driving modes and how this feels as a driver's car. It's a big 2.7 ton executive saloon, so it should be really wafty and boring and a bit crap, right? No, not at all. So we have it in efficient mode at the moment. It feels a little bit loose, the accelerator's a little bit squishy. Yeah, but it's still quite responsive. You know, if you're used to a combustion engine and you put your foot down and you kind of wait for the revs to build up, this just gives you, oh yeah, it's still there. But there's a button down here where you can just press My Modes and that'll bring up the options on screen. Or you could say, hey BMW, activate sport mode.
Sure, I will activate the sport mode.
Whoa, and I can feel the seats just tightening in around me here. And yeah, the suspension just feels a little, it's firmer, it's sharper, the steering's more pointed, but the big difference is that accelerator. And wow, the responsiveness. And can you hear the noise as well? That's Hans Zimmer in all his glory. The famous composer wrote the soundtrack to this car, if you want to call it that. And it kicks in whenever you press your foot on the accelerator or ease off. But it's not just that. Let's press this My Modes button again. We've got relax mode, digital art, but there's this one here, expressive, that I want to press. And the screen just lights up in all these fantastic colors and it gives it even more sound. So we're about to take off from this junction just here. Thank God we four-wheel drive in these conditions. And wow. And then even when you take your foot off, you're getting really strong regen kicking in. And it plays a different sound, like just the string of the violin. Wow. It's just a really immersive experience. I remember the first time I got in an EV that had these artificial noises. It just really bugged me. The first thing I did is I went to turn it off. And I'm still like that in general. But this is different. This really works. I hate to say it, but I love it. I do, I really like it. So our time with the BMW i7 is finally over and we're not happy about that. We have just loved our time with it. We've put up hundreds of kilometers on it. We've had it on the motorway, in traffic, not in traffic, country roads, doing the school run in it even. And we just grew into life with it so well. It really is incredible. You think about the range, you think about the amount of power there, nearly 600 horsepower. The comfort inside, the massage, electric seats, the options of having that fold down screen, this just really is stupendous. It's up there at the pinnacle of Irish motoring. What else out there is better? For me, if you've just got a shed load of cash, there's two options out there. That's the Mercedes-Benz EQS and this, the BMW i7. Which one is better? I'm not going to say because it's going to be down to you. Now, if I'm doing long trips on the motorway, that EQS is a little bit more efficient with better range. But as a driving machine, this is just a bit tidier, a bit more enjoyable. And look, if you've got the money to have that tough choice between this or the EQS, best of luck to you.